we've got Benny Bargwanna in that 35 car that you can see that will lead us to the number 1 starting position here at the moment. Give us a bit of a rundown. So we've got Benny Bargwanna position 1. He's going to square off on the front row here with Cam Bartholomew.
Okay, well, I believe you will actually see Adam Bywater's car actually still at the front.
Right.
Okay, he had got a penalty yesterday for weaving behind the safety car once the lights were out, so it was like a bit of a whoops. But what they've decided is just keep him starting in his position and then give him a possible 30-second penalty in this race.
So that means Bartholomew will still start on the front row then with Bywater there in position 3?
That's correct. So we'll have Cameron Bartholomew second, then we'll have Adam Bywater in third on the track, then Asher Johnston in fourth. Okay, we'll have Cameron Wilson in fifth, Brock Giblin in sixth, David Wood from Queensland in seventh, Peter Kemp, our only Tassie in the field, in eighth, Steve Hay in ninth, and Matthew Broadbent, another young Queenslander, in 10th position.
Fantastic. Look at this. What a sight. What a sight. The Excels coming through Murray's Corner. They're going to be stacked probably, I'd say, around the turn, if you don't mind. There's a Castrol livery as well just coming through Murray's Corner, just adding to the flair of the Excels here this morning. So it's Benny Bargwanna, Cam Bartholomew on the front row. We've got 54 Excels out there. It's like the World Championship of Excel racing here this morning at Mount Panorama. Strap yourselves in and hold on tight, because this is going to be an absolutely cracking affair between our top 2 and top few cars out in front. They're going to be slipstreaming like you could not believe, going up and down the mountain. Won't be too far away from a start here, Bexy, waiting on that green flag to wave, and then we're going to send them loose around Mount Panorama for 6 exorbitant laps. Here we go, Sean. Take us away, my friend.
Okay, so green flag has waved. We've got the 5-second board now. What they will do, they will show 5 lights. So we've got the first, second, third, or 5th red light, and we're off. Looks like everyone at the front's got a fairly good start there. Looks like somebody had a bit of a slow start, that mid-pack, so they all seem to be spreading out down that straight. Let's see how they go through turn 1.
Oh, no contact in behind. Unfortunately, Kemp getting turned around. There's more. Adam Bryant getting caught up. And unfortunately, we've had carnage already at turn number 1. Adam Bryant stopped on driver's right there, right midway through Hell Corner. Unfortunately, that might be in a pretty precarious position if you can't get that car refired here and into a safer spot. In the process, though, Bartholomew has got the lead heading up Mountain Straight here for the first time. It looks like Benny Bargwanna might just get shuffled back here as they turn it into Griffin's Bend.
That's right. We've got Asher Johnston coming in underneath him, going through Griffin's, and Adam Bywater looks like is also going to position.
So Asher Johnston making up some spots here early. He's gone from position 3 up to that 2nd spot now. Bargwanna looking down the inside of Bywater. That is a ballsy spot to try and get the job done there. Side by side going into Griffin's Bend. Now Cam Wilson is looking down the inside of the Alan Moffat-esque livery number 1. Great jump, and look at this. It's a complete train at the moment as they come across the top to greet the fans on top of Mount Panorama for the opening lap of 6 here at the moment. We stay under green flag conditions for now. Bartholomew has got the margin so far, but Johnston stuck right on his rear hammer.
That's right, and as they come across the top, they're going to be in 4th gear, going as hard as they possibly can. Just over this hump just here, a lot of the guys have been saying that some of the mid-pack will just lift off just slightly. Not as brave as the front guys. But I know a lot of the guys are talking about trying to drive it flat until Skyline.
Listen to the tyres protesting as they head down towards the tipper. And we've spoken about coming down the mountain a lot this weekend because there's a lot of weight over the front end of the car. It means the back then is going to be very, very light. So actually tipping these cars into this sequence of corners that we're seeing at the moment is going to be very, very difficult.
Well, that's right, because if the back end of the car suddenly gets a little bit loose, you will then start turning everywhere.
And watch this. Here we go. It's like Daytona at the NASCAR. They're drafting, heading down Conrod Straight. So Johnston's going to look for the lead here. He stepped out of the draft already. Bartholomew has taken the inside line. Driver's left going over the rise of Conrod Straight here. They're almost making left rear to right front contact coming down side by side, if you don't mind. And now the train on driver's left is going to get the margin as they're side by side through the kick at near enough to 200 Ks.
As you can see, coming in, they're just out under brakes now. Ben Bargwanna tried to take the position from Johnson, but Johnson came through. Slight little bit of contact with Bywater, and he's move back to fourth spot.
This is going to be epic. Twitter at the moment is lighting up like you could not believe as they come down into Murray's corner. Bargwanna's all crossed up. He's got Campbell behind in the battle for fourth. Bartholomew is going to lead lap number 1. Bywater, in the space of a heartbeat now, is going to find himself into position number 2 as they come across the line to complete lap number 1. Let's give you this margin. From first back to position 7, they're covered by 2 seconds. Incredible.
And this is the amazing thing about this racing.
So, what an opening lap for Bartholomew. Let's have a look at what happened here at the start. So your 2 leaders get away. You need to look back just in this 3 wide battle pack here at the moment. The 116 machine is going to get shafted here. There it is, the contact, and unfortunately had nowhere to go. A slight overlap, and then the damage continued, unfortunately, in the contact just through Hell Corner. Back to the lead we go. Johnston on the inside in car number 8 here, looking for that margin underneath Bywater. Bargwanna's going to slot in right in behind him as well. Here we go. Here we go. Almost 3 wide as they head up towards the cutting out of Griffin's Bend.
And coming into the cutting, what they do, they go back down into second gear so they can try and get that power, well, what power the cars have, and up the hill. And so whoever can actually get the least wheel spin coming out of the cutting will get the better drive out of the corner.
That's been a huge talking point prior to the weekend as well. What drivers will do trying to get up the mountain. Have they been using second, or have some been trying to get up there in third gear?
No, the word is that everybody's been using second through
Right.
the cutting because you want as much revs as possible to try and keep these cars, keep their momentum going.
Yeah, they'd certainly be struggling trying to get up the mountain. They wouldn't be too bad going down the mountain, which they're about to get to at the moment. So the car's going across Brock's skyline right now. Your leader is still Bartholomew. Johnston in second. He's a great young talent, isn't he, Asher Johnston? Really making a name for himself, not just in this class, but in Australian motorsport. He's a 2 times South Australian champion.
Well, that's exactly right. And we've got plenty of champions here. Now, Asher's... He travels around Australia with the Hyundais. He's been to Queensland for the Nationals there. We went to the Wakefield Park to the Nationals, for the last year's Nationals. So he travels around everywhere to get as much experience in these cars as possible.
Of course, those championships for him coming in 2014 and 2016 as well. The trains are lining up, heading down Conrod Straight. On the right-hand side of the screen, drivers left, you've got Cam Wilson with Ben Bargwanna right in behind him. You've got Adam Bywater trying to have some help, but he's lost the help now on drivers right heading down Conrod Straight. Bartholomew still the leader here at the moment. Johnston, if anything, now the top 2 have actually got, well, I say 3 car lengths between themselves in that battle pack for position number 3. Cars getting the curb there on the left-hand side. We had an incredible shot at the start of the weekend going down into Murray's corner because the curb on drivers left at Murray's is absolutely massive. One of the cars got, I'd almost say 4 wheels off the ground. He was that high in the air at this point right here. Almost what we saw there from the 47 machine of Brock Giblin, getting up on 2 wheels and having some fun, as you would come to expect here from the Excels.
Exactly. And as you can see, the field, there's going to be battles all the way through the field. So no matter where you are, you're going to have someone to fight with.
So let's keep you updated on this margin because it has not changed from 1st to 7th. The margin is still 1.9 seconds. So we've completed 2 laps of this race and it has not changed whatsoever.
And as they've been battling, what they've allowed is David Wood and I believe Ross Street to actually catch up to that train now. So as they keep battling for the lead, that train will get bigger and bigger and bigger.
So heading across the rise now and up towards Griffin's Bend once again. Still your leader of Bartholomew from Johnston, 1 and 2 right now. Wilson not too far in arrears. They're getting pretty close to each other heading out of Griffin's Bend there as well as they fight for position. Wilson now is starting to be the sleeper in the pack here, moving forward. Of course, he was out winner in race number 1 in the weekend as Bargwanna is still showing the nose there in car 35.
Exactly. Cam Wilson has definitely got a lot more experience than a lot of the other drivers around this track, so I think he's going to be using some of those wily tactics to just move forward, and I think he's going to be a very solid contender for the win this one.
So across the top of Mount Panorama they come once again, keeping in mind we've completed, well, we're on the 3rd lap at the moment, so we're not too far away from that half race distance right now. It's almost in a bit of a lull here at the moment as they come across the top of Mount Panorama. We say that with tongue in cheek because in just a moment. It's going to go crazy again once they come down Conrod Straight. But that's going to be the critical aspect, isn't it? Because this is going to be a game of chess. Where do you want to position yourself on that final lap, knowing all too well that there is going to be a long line of cars behind you that will get a great run and a great slipstream?
It looks like we've just had a car go around, or two cars go around on the way down the hill. Yeah,
not a good position there either as well. So unfortunately, two cars have come into contact at the exit of the dipper, and that is in a very precarious, a very bad position. Unfortunately, there's more damage here at the moment as well as that for Brock Giblin. The left front on that car looks a little bit skew as well. The drivers and your leaders are coming down Conrod Straight at the moment. Those two cars, though, are stuck at the dipper just on the exit, as it looks like Johnston will move towards drivers right here, but will duck back in amongst that slipstream effect here. Still, we stay under green flag conditions at the moment. Green waving down into the chase. And just standing on the brakes there at the moment, Cam Bartholomew. Oh, just got it turned in there. In fact, he got a lot of the curb, and safety car now is being called, as you would expect for that incident there at the dipper. So, we'll reach the
who we've missed.
Yeah, we'll reach the half race distance here in a moment, and it'll be interesting to see as to whether or not we get a resumption of play here, because dare I say that might take a little while to clean up there at the dipper. It might have even, was it Cam Wilson, I think?
Doesn't look like Cam Wilson has come through
in the number one, and it might have even been half a chance that Benny Bargwanna, because keeping in mind that they were fighting for position at the time. So I don't want to play devil's advocate here for the moment, but it might be Cam Wilson and Ben Bargwanna that got caught up. Remember, Brock Giblin had that left front damage there as well.
So it looks like, from what we've seen, 3 cars involved in that incident. 2 cars looked to stay at the crash where Brock was able to at least make his way down a lot of Conrod Straight. He might have actually pulled that up because of the damage.
Yeah, which is certainly a shame if that's the case, because it's going to rob us of what was a fantastic battle up until that point.
Exactly. But what it does, it allows some of the guys that were sitting just a little bit behind to catch up again.
So in a holding pattern here at the moment for the Hyundai Excels. Where to next for a lot of these drivers, Begsy? Because obviously they're here this weekend from all different venues and places around Australia. Where do they sort of head off to next within their own separate states?
Yeah, okay. Well, for us in Queensland, in a fortnight's time, we'll be back at Morgan Park. And the Victorians will then, basically every state will then go back to their state series and the state championship. So a lot of the races will be about within a month's time. They'll go in their rounds, and they'll then battle naturally against all the rest of the cars that haven't actually turned up, because unfortunately, as many people wanted to be here, we could only have 55 because that's all we could hold. We've got well over 350 CAMS registered Hyundai Excels in Australia racing at the moment. So word was that we had enough on the waiting list to fill another grid. So there's definitely a lot of people wanting to come here.
Well, yeah, it's funny because obviously the track density only allows 72 up here at Mount Panorama. So yeah, hence why sometimes you have to obviously cut the numbers short, because legally we're sort of not allowed to run any more than that at the moment.
Exactly. As you can see, they're still just keeping some warmth in the tyres. One thing we find is that the tyres do cool off quite quickly if you're not racing racing hard. The tyres that we use are the Federal 5905 RSRs, and big thank you to Federal for sponsoring our racing this weekend.
Kevin Herbert has jumped on the hashtag B6HR this morning. He goes, on my way to the Bathurst 6 Hour listening to the radio show Limited team this morning. He goes, I had to stop to watch the stream of the Excelathon this morning, and you're quite right, my friend. It has been an absolute belter so far. Keep driving though at the moment, because we're underneath the safety car period at the moment, and if you get here underneath the speed limit, of course, you might be able to make it towards the track in time to catch possibly, hopefully, a resumption of play, with still 3 laps to go at the moment as the field trundle underneath the control of the High Tech Oils Toyota 86 safety car right now.
Yes, and there's been lots of talk about what 55 Hyundais on a track is actually called. Okay, so we've got an Excel-a-thon.
Yep.
Okay, I actually heard somebody the other day call it a salon of Excels.
I suppose you could probably go on about that for days. Look at the damage there. So that's been quite a sizable impact by the looks. Cam Wilson is the red car there. Ben Bargwanna, the son of Jason Bargwanna, the 2000 Bathurst winner, also stopped there at the moment as well in that 35 machine.
Yeah, you can see the front damage on the Cam Wilson car.
Yeah, that's copped a fair sizable hit, hasn't it?
It has. So hopefully they're okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, over 400 Excels, I believe, are registered in Australia for racing. I mean, that is incredible, isn't it? But more to the point, I think there, Begsy, is that for these Excels, right now in the landscape of Australian motorsport, they're becoming more of a proving ground, aren't they, for youngsters that therefore also step onto bigger and further things in Australian motorsport?
Well, that's exactly right. We've got, we have a lot of guys coming from go-karting or other forms of motorsport that wanted to go to the circuit racing. Great cost effective. If you do damage them, they're not that expensive to fix. So it gives the guys, if they do make a mistake, they're not looking at big budget repairs. So very affordable. Very close racing will then also get the driver skills. And what we've got as we go through the 6 hour category, definitely a lot of people involved. So it looks like we've just been red flagged.
Yeah, red flagged, unfortunately. So this third and final race of the weekend for the Hyundai Excels, unfortunately, coming to a halt here after the contact, the damage and the debris that is strewn across the racetrack there at the Dipper. So thank you very much to our flag marshals, of course, for their help here this weekend. No doubt many of them busy at the Dipper section of the racetrack right now. So that's a bit of a shame, unfortunately, Bexy, because it was setting up to be a cracking second half of the race, and so many people here filling this Mount Panorama circuit in order to watch this Excel action here this morning. But we're going to be robbed of what was going to be a great race, mate.
Exactly. And having it come down to this is not exactly what we wanted as a category, but we've got to make sure that people are safe to be able to clean up and stuff like that. But
of course,
everyone has enjoyed it.
Not to mention we've got a tight schedule to stick to, because obviously the race start and broadcasting commitments for the High-Tech Oils Bathurst 6 hour, the race getting underway at 11:30, not to mention the broadcast itself getting underway at 11:15, hence why that we do need to get through our program of events here for this morning. So, a bit of a shame, mate, but plenty of, no doubt, people that you need to thank here this weekend for making this all happen for the Hyundai Excels.
Well, definitely. Well, first off, our race sponsor, Federal Tyres, thank you very much. We run them as a control tyre, but they're very, very supportive of our category, so it's absolutely amazing. We'd also like to thank the Bathurst 6 hour and High-Tech Oils 6 hour for having us this weekend.
Yeah,
as our first weekend, we really hope we put on a great show, and we've absolutely loved being here, and a massive thank you to all the officials.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Hopefully you've enjoyed yourself as well. Let's have a look at the top 10 results for our Series X3 Excels here this morning. Cam Bartholomew taking the win. Asher Johnston, the two-time South Australian champion, home in second. Adam Bywater, position number 3. David Wood in 4, and Ross Street, the top 5. Bexy, take us through from 6 through to 10.
From 6 we have Dean Hill. 7th we have Steve Hay. 8th Frank Mammarello coming from mid-pack on his way up. In 9th Mark Goldspink, and in 10th Nathan Blight from Victoria. Have you enjoyed yourself? I've had an absolute blast. Thank you so much for having us. It's been great having you here at Mount Panorama this weekend as part of the High-Tech Oils Bathurst 6 hour.